Strawberry, 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 strawberry. I hope you had a good day, and a good week, a good week. So today, oh, my kitty's joining me. Today, I'm gonna be reading some of my favorite parts of Frankenstein. I just ordered this book. I'm so happy. I've had the paperback version since I had to buy it for high school, but this is my first time getting like a pretty hardcover of the book, so I'm really excited. If you didn't know, this is my favorite book, The Modern Prometheus. This one just says Frankenstein on it because that's the popular name. But yeah, let's open her up. I was like, I'm gonna wait to open with you guys. I just got it a couple hours ago. Some crinkle sounds. Hi, Bob, do you want to play with the plastic? I just realized the fit is kind of giving like black and green. I feel like it's kind of giving Frankenstein just a little bit. I'm so excited. That's interesting. So the spine is like fabric. And the cover is like, I don't know what this material is called. Oh, he is having fun with the plastic. But yeah. Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. So cute. This is the Masterpiece Library Edition. Revered as an icon of horror and perhaps the genesis of modern science fiction, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein electrified the world with its haunting exploration of what makes a man or a monster. Rediscover this captivating masterwork in an elegant keepsake edition, honoring the Peter Popper Press tradition of publishing beautiful books. Love it. She was not expensive at all. I feel like it was like $12 or something like that on Amazon. Look how gorgeous the glittery gold is. Okay, I'm gonna stop fangirling and like get into it. Oh. I lied, I'm still fangirling. Okay, there it says or the modern Prometheus. Pretty sure that's the official name. I think Frankenstein is just like what it's known to be called by other people, but I don't know. Let's see. There's like the little foreword. I'm not as interested in, I'll be honest. That is stunning. Look at this picture, dude. This is also what I was excited about, is because I saw this picture someone posted on of this book. Like, look how pretty. Oh, the light is not giving it. That's so pretty. Oh. Let's see where I'm gonna start. Oh, it's such a good book, dude. It's told through letters. If I had my annotated one, it would probably be easier for me to find where I want to start. Let's see. Get some page turning in. I wish I could read this whole book in a video, but it would be like, it would take me like 9 hours and many videos, and that's just a huge commitment. Oh, it's so pretty. I'm just admiring it right now. So the pages are all stuck together, so oh, this looks really cool. is chapter 6 or chapter 4. I'm trying to remember how the Roman numerals work. Let me check. Oops. Okay, this is chapter 4. When the I or the line comes before the V, it's 4. I think after is 6. Okay. I'm gonna read this excerpt. From this day, natural philosophy, and particularly chemistry in the most comprehensive sense of the term, became nearly my sole occupation. I read with ardor those works, so full of genius and discrimination, which modern inquirers have written on these subjects. I attended the lectures and cultivated the acquaintance of the men of science of the university, and I found even in M. Krempe a great deal of sound sense and real information, combined, it is true, with a repulsive physiognomy and manners, but not on that account the less valuable. In M. Waldman, I found a true friend. His gentleness was never tinged by dogmatism, and instructions were given with an air of frankness and good nature that banished every idea of pedantry. In 1,000 ways he smoothed for me the path of knowledge, and made the most abstruse inquiries clear and facile to my apprehension. My application was at first fluctuating and uncertain. It gained strength as I proceeded, and soon became so ardent and eager that the stars often disappeared in the light of morning, while I was yet engaged in my laboratory. I'm gonna move it over here. As I applied so closely, it may be easily conceived that my progress was rapid. My ardor was indeed the astonishment of the students, and my proficiency that of the masters. Professor Kremp often asked me with a sly smile how Cornelius Agrippa went on, while his M. Waldman expressed the most heartfelt exultation in my progress. 2 years passed in this manner, during which I paid no visit to Geneva, but was engaged heart and soul in the pursuit of some discoveries which I hoped to make. None but those who have experienced them can conceive of the enticements of science and other studies. You go as far as others have gone before you, and there is nothing more to know. But in a scientific pursuit there is a continual food for discovery and wonder, a mind of moderate capacity which closely pursues one study must infallibly arrive at great proficiency in that study, and I, who continually sought the attainment of one object of pursuit, and was solely wrapped up in this, improved so rapidly that at the end of 2 years I made some discoveries in the improvement of some chemical instruments, which procured me great esteem and admiration at the university. When I had arrived at this point, I had become as well acquainted with the theory and practice of natural philosophy as depended on the lessons of any of the professors in Ingolstadt. My residence there was being no longer conducive to my improvements. I thought of returning to my friends in my native town, when an incident happened that protracted my stay. One of the phenomena which had particularly attracted my attention was the structure of the human frame, and indeed any animal endowed with life. Whence I often asked myself, did the principle of life proceed? It was a bold question, and one which has ever been considered as a mystery. Yet with how many things are we upon the brink of becoming acquainted, if cowardice or carelessness did not restrain our inquiries? I resolved these circumstances in my mind, and determined thenceforth to apply myself more particularly to those branches of natural philosophy which relate to physiology. Unless I had been animated by an almost supernatural enthusiasm, my application to the study would have been irksome and almost intolerable. To examine the cause of life, we must first have recourse to death. I became acquainted with the science of anatomy, but this was not sufficient. I must also observe the natural decay and corruption of the human body. In my education, my father had taken the greatest precautions that my mind should be impressed with no supernatural horrors. I do not ever remember to have trembled at a tale of superstition, or to have feared the apparition of a spirit. Darkness had no effect upon my fancy, and a churchyard was to me merely the receptacle of bodies deprived of life, which, from being the seat of beauty and strength, had become food for the worm. Now I was led to examine the cause and progress of this decay, and forced to spend days and nights in vaults and channel houses. My attention was fixed upon every object the most insupportable to the delicacy of the human feelings. I saw how the fine form of man was degraded and wasted, I beheld the corruption of death succeed to the blooming cheek of life. I saw how the worm inherited the wonders of the eye and brain. I paused, examining and analyzing all the minutiae of causation, as exemplified in the change from life to death and death to life, until from the midst of this darkness a sudden light broke in upon me, a light so brilliant and wondrous yet so simple, that while I became dizzy with the immensity of the prospect which it illustrated, I was surprised that among so many men of genius who had directed their inquiries towards the same science, that I alone should be reserved to discover so astonishing a secret. Remember, I am not recording the vision of a madman. The sun does not certainly shine in the heavens, then, which I now affirm is true. Some miracle might have produced it, yet the stages of the discovery were distinct and probable. After days and nights of incredible labor and fatigue, I succeeded in discovering the cause of generation and life. Nay, more, I became myself capable of bestowing animation upon lifeless matter. The astonishment which I had at first experienced on this discovery soon gave place to delight and rapture. After so much time spent in painful labor, to arrive at once at the summit of my desires was the most gratifying consummation of my toils. But this discovery was so great and overwhelming that all the steps by which I had been progressively led to were obliterated, and I behold only the result. What had been the study and desire of the wisest men since the creation of the world was now within my grasp. Not that, like a magic scene. Oh shoot, these pages are stuck together. All opened upon me once the information I had obtained was of nature rather to direct my endeavors so soon as I should point them toward the object of my search, than to exhibit that object already accomplished. I was like the Arabian who had been buried with the dead and found a passage to life, aided only by one glimmering and seemingly ineffectual light. I love that. And I mean, it keeps going. Do you guys see why this is my favorite book? The writing is insane. Mary Shelley wrote this book when she was fucking 19, dude. 19. I'm 20 now. I could hope and pray that I write one sentence that is even at all comparable to hers. Like, I'm losing my goddamn mind. I love Mary Shelley. She's amazing. I'm gonna drink some of my green tea because my throat's getting dry. Also, I'm pretty sure she's the one who like lost her virginity on her mother's grave or something crazy like that. Which, real. I haven't done that, but real. She's so goth. I love it. She's just that girl. I put a little, this is a little mirror. I just used it as a bookmark. Didn't really get the tapping sound I thought it was going to. You can see my laptop. Can you see the flowers I just got? No, I just shined you with light. That's okay. I just got this really pretty orchid. Maybe I'll show you. I'll show you right now. That's fine. She's so cute. I guess nobody claimed her at the greenhouse, so, and the greenhouse tech didn't want it in there anymore, so hey, I got first dibs. If you guys didn't know, I'm president of the Botany Club at my university. I put her in this purple pot that we have at the greenhouse, but look. She's so stunning, dude. Oh my god. I love her. Did I ever show you guys my white orchid when I got it? I don't remember if I did. I hope I did, because she lost all her blossoms, so she's just the plant now. This one will probably lose its blossoms too, so I want to immortalize it and show you guys. I repotted her, and oh my god, her roots were so like rotted and just not having it. Like, the actual plant itself does not look the happiest. These two leaves are fine. So I don't I'm just gonna put her right there. So I removed a lot of the dead roots, lesson I'm inserting in here is that, you know, it spends a lot of energy on its flowers and its leaves. And that can be a waste with a lot of some of our plants in the greenhouse. I will literally like rip the flowers off so that the plant will conserve its energy, because I don't want it wasting its energy on flowers. I want the plant itself to grow and get bigger. It should be focusing its energy on its roots and its root system and its health. And because flowers is how they procreate. A lot of plants will actually, when they're about to die, produce like their biggest, prettiest flowers, because they're just trying to pollinate and, you know, spread their seed basically before they die. It's like it's kind of poetic. I've heard that before. Like, it'll happen with people too, by the way. Human beings, well, not have flowers, but people who are like on hospice or just who are dying will, before they die, like whether it's like the day before or like a couple hours before, will have this like sudden burst of energy, and like they feel totally fine and they want to like go out and do stuff. And nurses and stuff always say to like spend that time with your family, with that family member when you can, because that is usually the precursor to them. Like, they don't have like any time left, because that's just what your body does before you pass away, unfortunately. Plants do that as well. So, but yeah, so when it comes to plants in the greenhouse, we don't want them to flower usually. And same with this plant, the roots were really messed up, so I'll wait for the flowers to fall off. I'm surprised they managed to survive. I'm assuming it's a final hurrah kind of vibe. I might end up cutting the flowers off just so that the plant will focus its energy on itself, and I'll take care of the rest. But yeah, like my orchid doesn't have any flowers on it anymore, but the plant itself is very healthy. So yeah, my long little ramble out of the way. That's why we murder flowers in the greenhouse a lot of the time. Some of our like cacti and stuff will grow flowers, and I'm like, nope. Nope. Because if I want you to have babies, I'll propagate you, but right now I want you to be bigger, so none of that flower bullshit. Get out of here. But yeah. Okay, let me look for another section to read. This was, I think this is before he builds the monster. It's a whole lead up of letters and stuff. Like, it's more about like what should I say? It's about the characters and the characterization more than like to the human mind. Then after the feelings have been worked up by a quick succession of events, the dead calmness of inaction and uncertainty which follows and deprives the soul both of hope and fear. Justine died, she rested, and I was alive. The blood flowed freely in my veins, but a weight of despair and remorse pressed on my heart which nothing could remove. Sleep fled from my eyes. I wandered like an evil spirit, for I had committed deeds of mischief beyond description horrible. And more, much more, I persuaded myself was yet behind. Yet my heart overflowed with kindness and the love of virtue. I had begun life with benevolent intentions and thirsted for the moment when I should put them in practice and make myself useful to my fellow beings. Now all was blasted instead of that serenity of consciousness which allowed me to look back upon the past with self-satisfaction. I from thence to gather promise of new hopes. I was seized by remorse and the sense of guilt, which hurried me away to a hell of intense torture such as no language can describe. This state of mind preyed upon my health, which had perhaps never entirely recovered from the first shock it had sustained. I shunned the face of man. All sound of joy or complacency was torture to me. Solitude is my only consolation, deep, dark, death-like solitude. I think, that might not have been the one, though. That was 9, I think. Start of 10, perhaps. I think I skipped to after he confronted the monster, question mark, in the Arctic. Perhaps not. I feel like I'm not far enough in. Let's see. I think. I just read the part where Frankenstein is like, make me a wife, I'm lonely. He's so real for that, honestly. Make me a wife. Like, hello. Where's my wife at? Just saying. I think the part I'm looking for is definitely after that one. I don't even know what number chapters we're on anymore because I cannot read Roman numerals very well. You'd think I would because I have a Roman numeral tattoo, but no. Getting to the parts where Dr. Frankenstein is like traveling all over the place. Escape. Okay. I never found the spot that I was looking for. Probably would have been good to have my annotated book as reference, but I'd sound so. called a bitch. You don't get to pick and choose. Different ass and bigger boobs. We'll just do this one. XVI. What number is that? I don't know. You'll have to look it up. Cursed creator. Why did I live? Why in that instant did I not extinguish the spark of existence which you had so wantonly bestowed? I know not. Despair had not yet taken possession of me. My feelings were those of rage and revenge. I could with pleasure have destroyed the cottage and its inhabitants, and have glutted myself with their shrieks and misery. When night came, I quitted my retreat and wandered in the wood, and now, no longer restrained by the fear of discovery, I gave vent to my anguish in fearful howlings. I was like a wild beast that had broken the toils, destroying the objects that had obstructed me, and ranging through the wood like a stag-like swiftness. Oh, what a miserable night I passed. The cold stars shone in mockery, and the bare trees waved their branches above me. Now and then the sweet voice of a bird burst forth amidst the universal stillness. All save I were at rest or in enjoyment. I, like the arch-fiend, bore hell within me, and finding myself unsympathized with, wished to tear up the trees, spread havoc and destruction around me, and then to have sat down and enjoyed the ruin. But this was a luxury of sensation that could not endure. I became fatigued with excess of bodily exertion, and sank on the damp grass in the sick impotence of desire. There was none among the myriads of men that existed who would pity or assist me, and should I feel kindness towards my enemies? No. From that moment I declared everlasting war against the species, and more than all against him who had formed me and sent me forth to this insupportable misery. The sun rose, I heard the voices of men, and knew that it was impossible to return to my retreat during the day. Accordingly, I hid myself in some thick underwood, determining to devote the ensuing hours to the reflection on my situation. Yeah, I guess that was when the monster ran away. The monster's so real. I love that you get the monster's perspective. Like, there's several chapters, like, from the monster's point of view. And you get to, like, you know, hear its thoughts. And oh yeah, here's the next one. XVI. The next chapter starts with the being finished speaking, and fixed his looks upon me in expectation of a reply, but I was bewildered, perplexed, and unable to arrange my ideas sufficiently to understand the full extent of his proposition. He continued, "You must create a female for me, with whom I can live in the interchange of these sympathies necessary for my being. This you alone can do, and I demand it of you as a right which you must not refuse to concede." The latter part of his tale had kindled anew in me the anger that had died away while he narrated his peaceful life among the cottagers, and as he said this I could no longer suppress the rage that burned within me. "I do refuse it," I replied, "and no torture shall ever extort a consent from me. You may render me the most miserable of men, but you shall never make me base in my own eyes. Shall I create another like yourself, whose joint wickedness might desolate the world? Begone! I have answered you. You may torture me, but I will never consent." Clock it. But also, you really just made him one of a kind and said, "Nah, fuck you." Shame. This is what happens when you play God, and you play with life and death. Yeah, "You are in the wrong," replied the fiend, "and instead of threatening, I am content to reason with you. I am malicious because I am miserable. Am I not shunned and hated by all mankind? You, my creator, would tear me to pieces in triumph. Remember that, and tell me why I should pity man more than he pities me. You would not call it murder if you could precipitate me into one of those ice rifts and destroy my frame, the work of your own hands. Shall I respect man when he condemns me? Let him live with me in the interchange of kindness, and instead of injury I would bestow upon every benefit upon him, with tears of gratitude at his acceptance. But then cannot be. The human senses are insurmountable barriers to our union. Yet mine shall not be the submission of abject slavery. I will revenge my injuries. If I cannot inspire love, I will cause fear, and chiefly towards you, my arch enemy, because my creator, do I swear inextinguishable hatred. Have a care, I will work at your destruction, nor finish until I desolate your heart, so that you shall curse of your birth. Period. I mean, fair. Their beef was crazy. But yeah, I love Frankenstein so much. I think as someone who is a science major, I think you guys know I'm a double major in physics and astronomy. That's like such a big thing with science, is that there's ethics, of course. I think every scientist should have to take an ethics course. There's this obligation to not do harm with your science. I think the creation of nuclear bombs is a big example of that. And in fact, the biography on Oppenheimer is literally called The American Prometheus for a reason. And yeah, and that's also a really good book. I have that book as well. I haven't read it because it's huge. I mean, there's so much information in it. I have seen the movie Oppenheimer though, and I loved it. I sobbed watching it multiple times. It's just, I don't know, there's just something so, I mean, of course, it's tragic. I feel like everybody should feel some sense of like grief when watching it, especially the parts where he's like thinking about the impact that, you know, the bombings on Hiroshima and Nagasaki had. I mean, people were slaughtered. Like, there's no other men, women, children, babies, everybody, dogs, cats, everything just completely flattened in those cities, and it was terrible and awful. And yeah, it's a really really good book and a really sad story, and unfortunately a true one. And yeah, so big sigh. And I mean, if we were to like talk about it a little more in depth, the kind of like, I mean, obviously politics and stuff are involved. There definitely was that conflict of, well, if we don't build the nuke first, then another country might do it, and we don't want them to have that like power over everyone else. We want to be the one with the advantage, which I understand. But there is that thing of, it just sucks because as soon as it was discovered that you could, you know, split an atom and cause a huge explosion, literally what happens in stars as they go through, that's how they, you know, make their fuel. As soon as we literally basically unlocked the power of stars, it was kind of a race for a weapon to be made with it, which is really unfortunate. It sucks that with discoveries in science, you know, any discovery you make can be turned into a weapon of mass destruction, or just, you know, something to be used against other people, which is really fucked up and really sad. But unfortunately, it's a very true part of science, and it's kind of a reality you have to live with in the scientific field, and something you have to keep in mind. And I think it's really irresponsible to just be like, oh, I'm a scientist, I can just make whatever, and it's not really up to me what the government does with it. There is still a responsibility that scientists have. Yeah, we might not be doctors, we might not like sign some like code, you know, there isn't a code of do no harm, but it should still be there as like a human being. You should still know. But yeah, ramble out of the way. Love this book, not just because of the amazing writing, but because of that message as well. I mean, that was really like that. I mean, that's the OG message of this. I mean, just because you can, just because he realized that, oh, like shocking, like using electromagnetic like waves that can like bring someone to life, which is how Mary Shelley got her idea for this book. She went to like one of those shows where they like shock corpses, and then it, you know, makes their muscles twitch, and so it almost like looks like they're alive. I don't know if they did it to a corpse or an animal, but that was the concept that inspired this, basically. And yeah, she really did a really good job of like playing on that, like, well, who says you have the right to fuck with this kind of thing? Like, you know, you shouldn't be messing with stuff like life and death. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it wasn't me like reading the whole book, it was just me reading some excerpts. I just wanted to chat